there wasn't probable cause. They can still say there was probable cause even though you're found not guilty. So anyway, that's the state of affairs in the United States right now, and somebody needs to step up. Somebody with the resources and the power and the backing needs to step up to change this terrible circumstance, because that's the direction we're going right now.
My turn?
Your turn.
All right. First of all, can Ariel hear me? Can you come out and just minutely move the camera? Because there's too much on the side of Rachel, and we can center this a little bit.
Well, wait a second. I don't mind that a bit.
I know you don't.
I know. I'm
I know you
I'm
don't.
getting most of the screen.
Yeah, we're going to move it. There you go.
We're doing a little bit of a throwback Saturday, too, here. Those of you who watch the show, been watching for a while, or maybe have seen shows from a year ago or more. This is our old set here, and we're kind of doing retro, throwback. And we may go back to the green screen, but right now the shelves are back as our background.
Okay, I thought now it's my turn.
Well, it is your turn.
Okay. I would like to thank Ariel Lowenthal. Is it Lowenthal? Ariel Lowenthal, who has come into American News and your law office to render assistance with our social media accounts and other needs where she has far more experience than we do, one of which is editing to a finished product video clips.
Helping to hold things together.
Really, and she couldn't have come in at a better / worse time. I have been trying to do things at home, and for those of you who don't understand, I had a heart transplant 4 weeks ago. And they load you up with steroids and anti-rejection medication and antiviral, anti-this, anti-that, and my hands shake, my mind gets cloudy, I forget. I kind of sit in a chair and think I'm someplace else. She couldn't have come in at a better time, and she's been very understanding as to what she's had to put up with me, trying to put things to paper. I think I've fucked up more passwords than you can imagine.
Oh, I can't even pay attention. I know you're trying to get all the passwords and social
well, I'm trying to get them so that they're uniform.
I know.
But I've screwed them up so bad that...
probably not the time to be working on that.
It's probably not the time, yeah.
Right. But that's okay. It keeps your
mind
active.
But I spent a lot of time in front of televisions. Whether I'm laying flat on my back in Hartford Hospital waiting the transplant, or laying flat on my back at Hartford Hospital after the transplant, or sitting in a chair, or doing whatever at the, my house. It's been horrible. But I will tell you this. I heard on CNN, and it really pissed me off, there was an incident where someone had a gun, a firearm, and I guess was going to go into a nightclub, and that person was stopped by a firefighter. And CNN came out and said he was stopped by an armed firefighter who had a permit to carry. That is the first time I've heard the liberal media acknowledge that an armed private citizen, because he's not a police officer, he's a firefighter, an armed private citizen stopped what could have been another terrible, horrible incident with firearms. And then I've said for years now, when the media reports an incident, an armed individual went into Walmart in Waco, Texas, and killed 22 people. He killed 22 unarmed people.
Well, you've brought that up before, and I've said to you,
Hundreds of times.
but we don't necessarily know the 22 people were unarmed.
Well, nobody's saying they were armed.
Exactly. I mean, if two people have guns and they're shooting, one person's gonna, So I'm just playing the devil's advocate there. But you're right. We probably would have known.
Somebody would have made it the point to say that even though he was armed, he didn't stop it and was killed.
And then the California incident in Gilroy at the Garlic Festival.
Right.
I know that they were showing that it was a gun-free zone, that there were signs posted that was a gun-free
yeah.
zone. Sort of like the Goshen Fair that
Ariel,
we went to.
On the table here, there's 2 bottles. One's a Diet Pepsi, and the other one is a thing called Ensure. I guess I'm going to be doing Ensure commercials for now.
You got to watch those. They have a lot of sugar in them. I think they've addressed that, though, because that came out. The doctors are recommending them all the time.
Dietitians.
I know.
Dietitians, what happened is I only weigh 232 pounds this morning.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Diet Coke there, too.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty good. No added sugar and only 4 grams. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is lunch.
This is not good.
But
Okay. You go by whatever your dietitian says. There you go.
Well, it's because I'm not eating them. I mean, when you take these anti-rejection drugs, it makes everything taste like garbage.
Right.
And I can't handle it. So bear with me. I'm sorry for the people on the other side of the camera. Cheers.
Just to give some positive news as well, not that the news you've already given hasn't been positive, but you've had 4 biopsies now, which on a heart transplant's required because they can't tell from just the blood test whether it's a rejection or not. 4 biopsies where they actually have to go in and take 4 to 5 samples of your heart
They
tissue.
snip pieces of the heart and take them out and look at them.
And it's all been negative for rejection. So it's very, very good news.
No rejection.
Because, even a little bit of rejection is very common.
Well, a little bit of rejection says that the heart tends to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
Or my body tends to fight the heart.
Yeah, the immune system, right.
And I am very fortunate.
It was very nice to be able to see for the first time since your surgery the heart transplant surgeon last week, Dr. Hammond.
Yeah.
It was very nice to see the individual who had performed the operation and to be able to thank him face to face.
Well, I've had the opportunity in the hospital, but
Oh, you had seen
For
Dr.
you-
Hammond in the
yeah,
hospital?
for
Oh,
you-
I didn't know that.
for you and Lois to have the opportunity to thank him,
Yes.
they saved me. I mean, heart-wise, I feel better now than I've felt in years. But just, God, laying on your back, my legs turn to rubber. So I gotta.
And just to let people know, after a heart transplant, obviously you're on oxygen. That's not something that happens all the time. There was a little bit of an issue.
There's
with
an
your
issue
left
with my
lung.
diaphragm.
Yeah, which is something that can happen during surgery, definitely, and you're going to follow up on that. So the need for oxygen is not necessarily something that follows from a heart transplant, but what was something that happened with
I'm
you,
told
it
that
is.
some people come out of this, and the only thing they take is Tylenol.
No.
And I'm sitting there going, oh boy.
Oh, well, you mean in addition to the anti-rejection medication, because
Yeah.
you have to be on that for the rest of
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah, so food tastes like shit, but I'm eating a little bit.
I was reading an article after you came out of your surgery for maybe 3 or 4 days. They had wires going into you to pace your heart to make sure that it was adapting as it should, correct?
Correct.
Just in case. And then they took the wires out.
They had a temporary pacemaker.
Right. and then they took the wires out. Was that painful when they did that, or they just?
No, but it was weird feeling.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, I read an
they had
article.
two drain tubes. They had two drain tubes that they had to pull out. Then the next day they pulled out the two. Looks like computer strips, computer ribbons that I guess were used to pace my heart. And you know, you can feel it go coming out of you. You go, oh man. But the worst one is when they take the Foley tube out of your penis.
I know you were going there. I could tell. But what I wanted to get to is I was reading an article about Neil Armstrong, great American hero, you know, first man who walked on the moon. And he didn't have a heart transplant. He had some kind of bypass surgery. And I think he was 81 or 82. And they were taking those wires out of him. And I knew exactly what they were talking about because you were going through the same thing at about the same time. And there's a lawsuit, I think, by his family about this. Well, whoever was taking the wires out, it can be a little, you know, risky because whatever they did, they created internal bleeding and nobody caught it. And it turned into sepsis or whatever, and he died. He basically died from them taking those little wires for the temporary pacemaker out of him, and nobody was watching. Nobody was paying attention. I'm like, geez, if you can be Neil Armstrong in the hospital and nobody's paying attention, then that can happen to anybody. It's really important to pay attention when you're in the hospital. It just really is. And boy, I feel bad for him.
Let me tell you something. I had as best an experience as can be expected.
Yes. Because nothing's perfect.
You're right. And I got in there fast. I didn't have to wait 2 years laying on my back, waiting. They got me in, they got me out, done. And now they do the biopsies, and I'm scared shitless when I walk in and just have the biopsies done because they go down through the side of your neck, I guess through your jugular vein or whatever. They go down into your heart to get in to start snipping around, and you're awake. Huh? You're awake? Ah, I am such a pussy. You can't believe it. There's a lot of people think I'm a hard ass. I am such a pussy when it comes to having to listen to people sticking shit down in my heart. Oh! You know, because when I was in combat, I said to everybody, shoot me. Don't stab me. And I don't want to die by fire. Can't do that to me. And what have I got? People stabbing me all over the place. Thank God for that pain Novocaine or Xylocaine or whatever the hell it is. Oh.
So we could make a whole new show about medical issues because there've been many that you've gone through. Except in comparison to Dick Cheney, you haven't been through anything. Remember he had his first heart attacks around 37, and everything that could possibly be done with regard to, you know, cardiac surgery has been done to that man.
Well.
And he's still going. Now, I saved some things this week that I saw on the news. And is there anything that you particularly want to talk about? If you think of something, let me know.
Go ahead.
Muhammad Ali wrote to Mary Jo Kopechne's father after her death 50 years ago, the family said. This is a letter that has just... Now, we've heard a lot about Ted Kennedy and Mary Jo Kopechne because it's basically the 50-year anniversary of her death, I think.
And did you know...
July 18th, 1969.
The state of Massachusetts put a 100-year moratorium on releasing those records.
Well, we're halfway there, Ed.
Yep, but they don't want anybody alive to hear what it says.
Yeah, because the people that are alive then will be old news. Nobody will really,
right.
It won't matter. Now, I can remember for years, it seemed like every day for years, that's all you heard about on the radio when you got up in the morning. You know, back then, eating breakfast, listening to the radio. Maybe the TV was on, not as often, but didn't they talk about that constantly? Of course, you weren't in the United States then, so you made 1969.
Oh, well, it certainly was.
Oh yeah, you came back in '68. But
Yeah.
do you remember hearing about that all
Oh,
the time?
yeah.
It was constant. I mean, there wasn't anything else going on except that.
In trying to get the years right, 78. In the early 80s, late 70s to early 80s, Ted Kennedy was thinking of running for president.
Right.
And everybody in the black community in Florida that I serviced for insurance was talking about Kennedy. He's the next president. I said, no, he's not. Why? I said, Mary Jo Kopechne.
Oh, that had already happened. Well, of course not.
Right, I said, Mary Jo Kopechne.
Yeah.
And all of the black people would go, who's Mary Jo Kopechne? I said, well, you better get used to the name. I said, because he's going to have to explain Mary Jo Kopechne. All you're going to have to do is say to him in any debate, what happened the night you were with Mary Jo Kopechne?
But you know what? Wasn't he driving somebody else home? I read this. He was driving somebody else, and Mary Jo, it had been a small party, you know, with some women that had worked behind the scenes and whatever political campaign was going on or whatever. And Mary Jo had felt not well, and she went out and she laid down in the car in the back seat. And Ted Kennedy went out with another woman. Did you ever hear this?
There were a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And I only went like this. It was dark when the car went off the Chappaquiddick Bridge.
Right.
He didn't report it till the next morning after speaking with family and attorneys.
Right.
So whatever story was told to the police had the benefit of family, friends, and legal.
And this is what Muhammad Ali, this letter just came out around the 50-year anniversary. The family had never released it. And his letter was dated July 31st, which was about, 13 days after the incident. And he said, Dear Mr. Kopechne, assert yourself in the interest of the good name of your daughter. Get yourself a good lawyer and sue that no good son of a bitch, Edward Kennedy, for everything he's got. That's just amazing that he took the time to write a letter to the parents of Mary Jo Kopechne and say that. I mean, that kind of made me like. I've never had a strong opinion either way about Muhammad Ali, but that kind of made me like him that he took the time to write that letter.
Oh, I liked him. I liked him because he stood up for what he believed in.
And he says, there were no mitigating circumstances. His TV speech was written for him by a dozen lawyers and speech makers and was not his own. The cheap two-bit hypocrite. Sincerely, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. Well, that doesn't seem like it. Cassius Clay, I'm surprised that he would have signed his name Cassius Clay in 1969. I thought he totally abandoned that name.
But for these reasons, he crossed the line and said, for those who want me to be Cassius Clay, I'm going to be Cassius Clay. For those who believe in my being Muhammad Ali, I'll be Muhammad Ali. I'm not doing this to piss anybody off. I am Cassius Clay, and I am Muhammad Ali, and I'm writing this letter, but he never wrote it to be publicized.
He did not. Right. So that makes the letter even more interesting.
Right. I just want, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and this whole thing with Trump and people criticizing him and the debates and everything, why can't they just leave this man alone and let him be president? Why can't they just give him 6 months to do his thing?
And talk about, focus on what you are going to do if you're elected president, not focus on what he's doing as president. I would love, Ed, to go back into the shows that we made before President Trump was elected and right after he was elected, and just kind of do a
Take
highlight.
out snippets.
Yeah, kind of do a highlight.
Well, what we
a
ought to
look
do is
back.
we ought to have
Well, we can all work on
Miss
that.
Lowenthal
Yeah.
fast forward.
Yeah, we can all work on that. I would like to do that in preparation for the upcoming campaign season. Definitely.
You're great. I just needed to tell Master Control that she's great. And you know something? She got you to wear that thing in your ear.
She did.
I could never get
know.
you to wear it.
I'm still wearing it too. I still have it there, so if anybody wants to say anything to me, they definitely can.
Okay, go ahead. Say something to her. See if she hears you.
Oh, there we go. That worked well. I
What
got
did she
it.
say?
I don't know, but I think it was
I
hello,
think I heard
Rachel.
it.
I'm doing great, according to Master Control, so there you go.
You are. Well, you know, it's not meant to be cueing you all the time. Say, for example, and it's taken forever to upgrade a computer here. Ariel and I, last week and this week, worked on getting Skype capability here in the studio. We had it about a year ago briefly. So if you're on the other side of the camera and you want to communicate with us, I would tell Joe Cool, call in. But when you call in, next time, see if you can call in on Skype. I'd like to Skype with people on their phones while they're right out on the street.
I was just looking up Joe Cool. He's up to 5.5 thousand subscribers. He's got videos on his YouTube site. Just look up Joe Cool, Kool, and he is doing good work out there. He's getting tons and tons of views. So congratulations to that. So I think we've been on for about 30 minutes. Is that good?
Yeah.
Let me, Master Control, have we done about 30 minutes? Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we got to get started.
I'm tired.
I know, we got to get started slowly.
I'm tired.
And then we'll work our way up, okay?
Listen, I want to talk to David Warden.
Oh, wait a second. I gotta turn it up. It's not, I can't really hear. She's saying a lot of stuff to me, and I don't know what it is, Ed. It's very complicated. Oh, now I've unplugged it. Can you just yell it? Yes, we are still on for the 30th anniversary get together banquet, September 21st in Rocky Hill, Connecticut at the VFW. And that's a celebration. I think we're going to have a buffet.
I'm looking to acquire the ability to publish audits done by members of American News out in the field. Say, for example, you have a YouTube channel. Good. Do an audit. Do something. Then you get that media clip to us. And we put it up on American News, and we tell people to go to your channel to watch it here, watch it there. And we start to build a network of cameras that can respond to major incidents. And I think that we can, in fact, make a little dent in what's happening in this country.
You reminded me of a meeting that I went to this week down in Middletown, where the Connecticut Gun Guild meets once a month, and they invited me to the meeting to talk about some firearms issues, what happens in probate, how you can structure a trust or a will with regard to your firearms related property. And they have a young, vital president of the guild, and he was talking about something that you've been talking about for 10 or 15 years, Ed, and that is
Going after the little cases.
yeah, because when you said, breaking news for the big cases, I'm thinking, well, sometimes the little cases, even though they don't seem big, they become big, right?
They become a pain in our ass.
I mean, yeah. So, he was just talking about, we have had the big, splashy, sexy lawsuits, the challenge to the ban on assault weapons. But to be honest, that doesn't affect that many people. It's a great issue. I'm not saying it shouldn't be challenged, the ban, but the little guy out there who is losing his guns because...
I would like the new president of the Connecticut Gun Guild to sit down and have a meeting, whether it's on camera, off camera, live, taped, whatever, and have a discussion about addressing the little things that have occurred, how the statutes have fucked up the works, and going after them on the little side.
People who get their guns taken and then can't fight to get them back, or don't know what to do to get them back, and they deserve to get them back, they're eligible to get them back, but the police aren't cooperating them. Things like that aren't the big splashy issues that come up, but these affect a lot of people every day.
That's correct.
So yeah, I wanted to bring that up. That was a great meeting that we had, a great group of people, and I'm actually thinking about joining. I may, because I liked what I heard.
Connecticut Gun Guild.
Yeah, I liked what I heard.
I'd join too.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up.
We are.
Did great first day back, because I got to get back into the groove too, because I haven't been doing it like we used to. So
okay.
We'll get our mojo back. Okay.
Oh, I think our mojo's back. I'm just tired.
Exactly.
Okay.
So everybody have a great week,
Listen,
and we will see you next week, God willing.
to everybody on the other side of the camera.